again. All right, got the lights? All right. Actually, a lot of monitors. Sorry, we're having a lot of technical difficulties today. All right. Well, imagine with me for a second that you were Evan. How many of you guys have ever seen Evan Almighty? If you haven't, it's the most hilarious movie in the world. Sorry that The Office is going to be lame now because he's no longer there. But imagine just for a second. Just imagine you're at home. Ladies, you're cooking a meal. Guys, you just come home from work, and all of a sudden, this dude shows up. And he looks at you and he says, I need you to save the world. And by the way, I need you to build a big ship. And by the way, I'm going to kill everybody else except for your family. How many of you would be like, no? Crosspoint is that direction. And you need to have a good day checking in there and having a good old time. How many of you guys would kind of freak out a little bit? All right, Christina would. Everybody else would be like, yeah, kill all mankind. That's good. And I'm the last one. Give me a hot, sexy mama, and I'll be good to go. All right, it's good. But does that happen? Does that happen that God just shows up in human form and say, hey, I need you to save the world? Does it happen? Does it? Has it ever happened before?
Yes.
Has it? Today we're going to examine this topic of Simpleton for a second. But before we do, I'm going to pray because I just feel we've got to pray. So God, thank you. Thank you for today. Thank you for your love. God, you've prepared a message ahead of time for us to hear. And God, for some reason, there's just seems to be some distraction, whether it's on my part or other people's part, or just there's something going on. And so I pray that you will oversee this message, that you'll intercede on my behalf, that it won't be my words that are coming out of this feeble, imperfect person, but may it be your words. God, it is our desire for you to use us in some great, incredible ways. Even though it might mean that we might be the last person or the last family on the face of the planet, as long as we're obedient to do what you have called us to do. May today we leave here and not be a simpleton. God, I love you, and I know you've got a word for everyone here, including myself. So take over, and you lead, and may we just have some fun reading your word. I pray in Jesus' name. And everybody said? Amen. All right. A simpleton is simply this: a naive person who believes everything because they do not have convictions about anything. What they think is sophisticated tolerance is only spiritual ignorance because they lack the ability to discriminate between truth and error. I'm here to tell you the truth. Within 5 questions, 5 rhetorical questions, I'm going to answer the 5 questions afterwards. But these 5 questions I'm going to ask you, I really want you to think, what if God would put you in Noah's shoes? What if God would put you into a circumstance that could radically change your plans? Are you ready? Are you ready? All right, glad some of you guys are. All right, if you would, turn to Genesis chapter 6. Genesis chapter 6. If you do not have a Bible, the Bible that is in front of you is your Bible to keep. Don't borrow somebody else's. That's their Bible. That yellow Bible is yours to keep. If you do not have a Bible of your own. We're going to look through the story of Noah. And Noah, he's an interesting character. He really is. He's an old man, but he is an obedient man. And you've heard these stories in Sunday school. If you've gone to whether a Catholic church, a Baptist church, a Pentecostal church, or if you've never been in church, you've heard it and you've seen the movie about it through Evan Almighty. So I want to encourage you right now to pay close attention as we examine the story of Noah. But before we do so, go ahead and watch this quick video.
Charles Taze Russell, founder of the Jehovah's Witness religion, made a number of predictions about the end of the world. The first was 1914, then 1915, 18, 20, 25, and the list goes on. Nostradamus, arguably the best-known seer of all time, predicted July of 1999 to be the chosen date of Armageddon. When that didn't come true, the doomsayers began spreading rumors that the Cassini space probe was going to crash on Earth. A computer programming oversight resulted in widespread panic and the prediction that the year Y2K would bring the end of civilization. Families stockpiled food and supplies in response to an event that never happened. The Mayan calendar, along with the I Ching end in the last month of 2012, and people believe it to mean the end of the world as we know it, possibly of all time itself.
I'm going to ask a rhetorical question. There's 5 rhetorical questions. In other words, this is not things that you shout out. It's just rhetorical. You think about it. The question is simply this. What if God warned you about the future destruction of the world because of human sin? What would you do? So God showed up, and he pointed his finger at you and said, hey, there's some wicked people on the face of this planet. And I'm letting you know that I'm going to destroy this entire world. If he came to you, what would you do? I'm going to pause and say this. This world is a wicked world. You look everywhere around you, and it's wicked. We have a gentleman here today, Bob. You saw his wicked cool bus outside. All right, by the way, afterwards, go see Bob, and he'll tell you his story. It's awesome. Bob sees the wickedness of violence and everything in the world. So he decided, this is just a preface of this story, for 2.5 years, he's driving around, He's driven around the entire United States, from city to city to city, and he said, hey, it's about kindness. It's not about violence. Don't raise your hand against your kids. Don't raise your hand against your wife. Don't raise your hand against another person. It's against violence. But I don't know about you, every time I click on the TV, and I'm like, man, this world is screwed up. And I'm like, what are we supposed to do about it? So the question is, what are we supposed to do? What would you do if God told you that he is literally going to destroy the world? Rhetorical question, but let's read. We're going to jump around a whole bunch. Genesis chapter 6, starting with verse 5 and 7. It's right there in the bottom of the screen, so pay close attention. Here we go. This is kind of the story of Noah. The Lord saw how great man's wickedness on earth had become, and that every inkling of their thoughts of his heart was only evil all the time. The Lord grieved that he had made mankind on the earth, and his heart was filled with pain. So the Lord said, I will wipe my mankind whom I have created from the face of the earth, man and animal, and creatures that move along the ground, and the birds of the air. For I am grieved that I had made them. Let's go down to verse 11. Now the earth was corrupt in the sight of God, and full of what? Violence. God saw the corrupt earth, how corrupt the earth had become, for all the people of the earth had been corrupt in their own ways. So God said to Noah, I am going to put an end to all people, for the earth is filled with violence because of them. I am surely going to destroy both them and the earth. Welcome to Catalyst Church. We're talking about doomsday and Armageddon and all that stuff. But what would you do? If you were Noah, would you be like, yes, they're wicked, but relax. There's a lot of good people. There's a lot of good people on the earth. You're really not going to destroy this world. You're grieved and you're upset. Hey, go take a chill pill, God, and relax. We're all right. We're all right. But I don't know about you, but if you look around the world right now, we're not all right. We are far from all right because of our, including myself, wicked, sinful ways. I think I know what is best, and so do you, and so do the rest of the world. And we put us in the American box and say the American is wicked. There's a rest of the world that is wicked, and we forget that there's a God who loves us. And every time we sin or somebody else sins, he's like, man, that hurts. If my child, Ethan, I've got 2 children, my son Ethan comes up to me and just say he does something extremely wrong. And he takes my computer and looks at me in the face and says, it's a Mac computer, by the way. It's not one of these PC computers. By the way, once you go Mac, you'll never go back. Okay, so it's a Mac computer, and he looks at me and says, Daddy, because you have not taken me outside on the slip and slide, I'm going to mess up your toy. And he takes it and throws it on the ground. He destroys my Mac. I would look at him, and I wouldn't be very happy. Let's just say that. Trying to protect myself because I'm on the camera too. So I would be ticked off at my son. But I still want him. I still love him. He has just done something that is so beyond comprehension. I love him. I think the wickedness in this world is like that. We look at God and says, here's your gift of love. Slam. I don't give a rip about you, God, because it's up to my way, not your way. And we're going to get into the answer to these questions at the very end. But think for a second. What would you do? All right, here's your next question. You ready for this? What if God saw one person's righteousness, okay? He looked at all the junk that's in the world and he said, you're righteous, you're doing what is right in the midst of all this junk that's happening in the world. What if God saw one person's righteousness and decided to save mankind? Okay, goosebumps time. Would it be you? Would it be you? Would it be me? Check that. With everything in the world, God sees all these billions of people and he picks out one and says, because of you, I'm going to save mankind. Not the world, mankind. A rhetorical question, something really to think about. Would it be you? And if your answer is no, why not? But God did see a righteous person. Let's look at Genesis chapter 6, verse 8 and 10. Here we go, verse 8 and 10. But, okay, this is, remember, there's a but. What is the but there for? Because of the wickedness and everything, but Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. And then it says, this is the account of Noah. Noah was a what man? Righteous man. Blameless among the people at this time. And he walked with God. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. By the way, that's like, don't ever name your kids that, because that's poor kids. Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now let's look at verse 17. Okay, so he found a righteous person, and his name was what? You can speak to me, it's okay. We're not like a weird church. What was his name? Noah. Okay. He found Noah, and he was a what man? And Noah walked with God. Okay, so they're homeboys, okay? They're all right. They're close together. They're walking together, and God said, you I've chosen. And then he starts talking to him. In verse 17, all right? I am going, this is the bad news phone call, but here it is. I am going to bring floodwaters on the earth to destroy all life under the heavens and the earth. Every creature that has breath on it. Everything on the earth will perish. And I don't know about God, but I don't think he made a dramatic pause, but imagine this. God walks up to Noah, or through a booming voice or whatever. Hey, check it out, Noah. I'm going to destroy every everything on the earth. Everything that breathes, everything on the earth, I will destroy because of their wickedness. I don't know about you, but I would look at God and say, but what about me? Well, what about me? I've been trying to do good. I've been good. I've come to Catalyst Church. I've prayed. I've done this. I have a relationship with Jesus. What about me? And I don't think God made that dramatic stop, because I think God went straight into it. He's like, all this stuff I'm going to destroy, but check this out, verse 18. But I will establish my covenant with you, and you will enter the ark, which we'll talk about in a second. You and your sons and your wife and your sons' wives with you. Imagine that. How awesome would that be for a second? Just think about it. You just got the phone call saying, by the way, God's going to destroy the entire earth. It's God on the other line and said, I'm going to destroy the world, but because you are doing right. In the midst of everything that is going on, I choose you to save mankind. I would look at God and say, hey, thanks. I don't deserve it, but all right, if you want to use me, that's fine. All right, now you mentioned something about an ark. So when you have the ark made, let me know. And I'm going to come over here. I'm just going to relax for a little bit, all right? So God, do your God thing. Make whatever this ark thing is. Make it, and we'll be all right. And I will save mankind. I know that's kind of prideful, but just playing along with the story. That's not what ended up happening. But what if this? Next one. What if, go to the next one, Adrian. What if God asked you to simply have, what's that F word? Faith, okay? Simply have faith and do exactly what he asked, even when others said you were crazy. Check this out. It's kind of like this. It's like, all right. By the way, I'm going to destroy the world. You're going to build this ark thing for me. Everybody will think you're crazy, but make sure you carry around all the supplies that you need. So I'm going swimming, so, all right, I forgot my little floaty things. Be prepared, because the earth is going to be destroyed soon. All right? So you're around. The kids put these on, I might be bored. By the way, it does say size 3 years old and earlier, so probably not going to fit. Okay. All right. God said, okay, prepare yourself. The floods are coming. By the way, let me preface this by saying, there had not been rain on the earth ever. The earth was created, and if you look at scientists, they can prove this. There was a canopy of water in the sky, kind of like a greenhouse effect. That's why the earth grew so plentifully, so quickly. It's kind of like a greenhouse effect. They had water on the ground. And we'll find out in a second why God created that greenhouse effect. All right? Okay, all right. So he's like, be ready. Okay, check that out. If I walked into Wally World and I walked around and said, the floods are coming. The floods are coming. Hey, you, get your stuff on. The floods are coming. The floods are coming. And here's a raft for you. The floods are coming. How many of you would be like, hey, 911, crossline, here we come. There's this weird old guy walking around with floaties and giving raft, and he's saying the floods are coming. How many of you would think that I'm crazy? Absolutely, I feel crazy right now just doing this. But imagine this. Noah experienced this, and God said, build me an ark. Let's read the story. We're in chapter 6, verse 14 and 16. Here we go. You ready for this? So you kind of got it in your mind. Okay, here we go. So make yourself an ark of cypress wood. Make room for it and coat it with pitch inside and out. This is how long you should build it. The ark should be 400 feet long, 75 feet wide, 45 feet high. Make a roof for it and finish the ark within 18 inches of the top. Put a door in the side of the ark and make lower, middle, and upper decks. All right, let's go to verse 19 and 22. 19 to 22. Oh, by the way, okay, check it out. Build a boat. You got it so far? Build a boat. And then, I don't know about this, I don't do anything with construction, but if God made me build a boat, it would sink. Okay. All right. But he brings it even worse. Verse 19. You are to bring into the ark 2 of all living creatures. I'd pause God right there and say, check it. I'm building myself a yacht, all right? I'm building myself the pimped out ark-like thing where, hey, I will be on the top floor with my wife. My son can be on the middle. That's fine, God. And on the lower level can be my wife's, my son's wife, because I don't like her very much. She can be down there. All right? A distance, 3 levels, and it's going to be awesome, God. We'll do whatever you want to do. And then God sprung this animal thing here, and it's just like 2 of every type of animal. All right, 2 of every type of birds, and and every kind of animals, and every kind of creature that moves along the ground, and you will come along the ground, will come to you to be kept alive. You are to take every kind of food that is to be eaten and store it away as food for you and for them. Oh my gracious me. Let's just imagine the ark for a second. You're building this ark. In the back of your mind, you're like, okay, I'm building a zoo on a boat. A zoo. God, what in the world? Okay, I'll do what you want me to do, but animals? I don't know about you, but if you've ever been to the zoo before, it stinks. It stinks so very bad, doesn't it? Imagine being in a closed boat with only a couple window vents at the very, very top. I would install as many type of air freshener things that I possibly could even imagine in that thing. Okay, you with me here? All right, then we go into verse 7, verse 1. The Lord said to Noah, go into the ark. Okay, not only did he say build it, he said go into the ark. Go into the ark, and you and your whole family, because I have found you righteous in this generation. Go down to verse 4 and 7. 7 days from now, I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and I will wipe from the face of the earth every living creature I have made. Check this out. What is verse 5? Let's read this all together. If you've got that NIV. And, read it with me. And Noah did all that the Lord commanded him. Noah was 600 years old when the floodwaters came. And Noah and his sons and his wives and his sons' wives entered the ark to escape the water of the flood. All seriousness now. Noah did what God told him to do. He did it. What if you were asked to do something great and you look as stupid as I do right now? Would you do it? Rhetorical question. Let's see what Evan Almighty did. Go and watch this.
So you're really him, aren't you?
You want more food? I haven't done so with salt in a while.
That's all right. I don't understand why you chose me.
You want to change the world, son. So do I.
What? Why an ark? I mean, that's like flood territory. You wouldn't do that again. You would do that. Would you do that?
Let's just say that whatever I do because I love you.
Well, then you have to understand that this whole building an ark thing is really not part of my plans here. I need to settle into my house. I need to make a good impression at work. What?
Your plans.
What are you talking about? We're talking about an ark, right? I mean, an ark? An ark is huge. I don't even know where I would begin.
Well, I hear that a lot. If you want to change the world, don't know how to begin. You want to know how to change the world, son? One act of random kindness at a time.
Got that? It's huge. Wicked world, Noah saw. But he lived righteously. God said, build a boat and everybody will laugh at you. I don't know about you, but I want to change this world. So I'll build an ark. I'll do whatever God has called us to do. But in these circumstances, in these really good moments of people's lives, God seems very distant sometimes. So I'm going to ask you this question. This is the fourth one. What if God seemed to be distant in all of this stuff? Here he is making an ark. He's like, go in, I'm going to destroy the world. What a lonely place Noah was in. What a disgusting place Noah was in. But he did all that God commanded him to do. He seems distant sometimes. But will you still be faithful? Imagine this. Here's some statistics for you. I won't read it. But for 40 days and 40 nights, the rain came and the floods came up. Until the water was 20 feet above the tallest mountain. So say Mount Everest, wherever the tallest mountain is, 20 feet above the tallest mountain, the rain stopped. What an eerie feeling to know that you would be the very last people on the face of the planet. On the 150th day, the ark landed on Mount Ararat. How many days have they been in the boat? 100 and what? 50 days. But Genesis 8 verse 1. Find Genesis 8 verse 1. This verse is incredibly awesome. In those times when you seem to be distant, but God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and livestock that were with him on the ark. And he sent a wind over the earth, and the waters receded. 224 days, Noah could start seeing mountains. On day 264, Noah sent out a raven to look for land. Look for specifically a place that they could survive with grass and vegetation. The raven came back. On day 271, a dove left, and he brought back a what leaf? Olive leaf. It had sticks, so there's green vegetation on it. So here he comes, and then he sent out another dove 7 days later on. And what happened to the dove? It did not come back. Total scholars say Noah and his family in the traveling water zoo was traveling on water for between 370 to 370 days before God opened the door. For 1 year, God was distant. I don't know about you, but when I heard at the very beginning, hey, it's going to rain for 40 days and 40 nights, I can handle 40 days and 40 nights. But as the days move on, I'll be like, God, where are you? I'm trying to save mankind here, and there's poop everywhere. My wife is annoying me. My son is annoying me. There's literally crap everywhere because of the animals. God, where are you? I'm in the lowest of my low. I know about you, but I've been through those days. But looking back now to them, they've been tough. But the question is, did we remain faithful? Last rhetorical question, then we'll answer these. What if God kept his promises? Would you praise him? Genesis 8, verse 20 to 21. Here's the end of the story. Then Noah built, the 8 verse, where am I at? 20, 21. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord. And taking some of the unclean animals, he sacrificed and burnt an offering to God. 21. The Lord smelled the pleasing aroma and said, because of man, even though their very inkling of their heart is evil from childhood, but never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done. The story of Noah is an interesting story. But there's truth to this story. And I want to share with you very quickly the 5 truths. Very, very quickly. There you go. How does this apply to you? God has warned us, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know this, God has warned us about the end of this earth. Look at the book of Revelation, and you hear of the earth going to come to an end because the Son of God, Jesus, is going to come back, and he's going to conquer this sin. He's not going to flood the world again. He's going to conquer this world because of our sin. But the Bible clearly says that no one knows the day or time. So let me warn you, if anybody comes to us, like I did last month, and said, by the way, on this date, the world will end, be ready. Look at them in the eye and say, you fool. Because no one, not even the angels, know the time and the place of the coming of God, of Jesus. The warning is out there, guys. The warning is this. One day, could be tomorrow, it could be 3 years from now, you don't know. But one day, Jesus is going to come back, and by that time, it's going to be too late for you. It's going to be too late for you. Okay, yeah, there's the warning. But let's just think about this. Let's just think. God has warned us that it's coming. And here are we twiddling our thumbs and not doing anything about it. The Bible says that the rapture, whether you're a post-trib, pre-trib, whatever, forget that. God's going to come and he's going to take his church away. Sometime. But I don't know about you, but I don't want to be, left behind. I don't want to be, all of a sudden, preaching my heart. I close my eyes and make a dramatic one. I look up and it's like, where did everybody go? Where is everybody? Or I look up and I'm on my way to heaven and all of a sudden just half of you are here. Do not want that. That is why this next one, number 2, is this. He has. There's no what if God has chosen a righteous man. He already has. and it's none of us. His name is Jesus. He has seen one man's righteousness and saved the world from their sins. The Bible says that God demonstrates his own love for us, that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Even though we and this entire world are full of sin, he loves us, he cares for us, he desires a relationship with us. So let me say this. If you're in this room, do you have a relationship with Jesus Christ? Rhetorical question for you to think about. Because one day, the wickedness of this earth will reach its climax. And God will say, it is time to take the church away. Those who have a relationship with me. And those who will be left behind can glory in their wickedness. And there will be a punishment on this earth that you can never even imagine. Jesus Christ came, here's the religious word, to save you from that. And it's easy as this. You can confess with your mouth, Jesus is Lord. Noah, he looked at God and said, there's thousands of people around me doing wicked things, but you, God, I'm going to serve. I'm going to make you the priority. I'm going to live a righteous life. That's what it's about. So if you do not have a relationship with Christ, near the end, I'm going to give you an opportunity to do so. To answer number 3 very quickly is, he has asked us to simply have faith. He does. If he looked at you and said, hey, here is the instructions of life. Let me do this. Here's the instructions of life, okay? And he gives you this, and this is what you do with it. Half of you are probably going to leave the church now because I threw a Bible. But listen, you do the very same thing on your daily basis. You take God's word and it says, that's the instruction book of life. You're like, I will take my time to read it when I want to. Noah followed to a T the directions of the ark. No matter if he was tired, no matter if he was lonely because people were yelling and screaming at him and cussing him out and saying, you foolish old man. No matter if he went and worked all day and he's like, you know what, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this anymore. We do the very same thing with our instruction booklet. He has asked us to follow him exactly, and we do not care. The third one, or the fourth one, is this. He has seemed distant. This is huge. I mean, how many of you guys think that God has actually felt distant from you before? I could definitely say that God has felt distant from me. I really believe that. But it's not because of God. It's because of me. I think I know what is best. So I'll pursue Dave's dream and Dave's future and whatever Dave wants to do. And I'll bring God along when I want him to. That's not a safe place to be. Because check this verse out. I'm going to put that up, Adrian. Check this verse out. It says, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of him. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you or what? Forsake you. No matter where you are, and if God seems distant, is because of us, not because of him. The last one is this. God has kept all of his promises. So I think it's time to praise him. I know today has been kind of a weird type of message. It's been all over the place, but here's a simple truth. That is not a simpleton's truth. You ready? The world will end. If you don't have a relationship with God, you will end with it. Jesus Christ came to this earth purely righteous and without sin. Came to this earth and he died for you and for me. That all we have to do is believe and have faith and do what he asks us to do. But it takes that first step of faith and believing that he said that if you have a relationship with him, you can live with him for eternity's sake. And after the fact, do your dead level best to follow him. Truth is, he will seem distant because we get preoccupied with what we want. But he will never leave us or forsake us because he has promised it. What a great God we serve. I'm going to bow your head and close your eyes for a second. Let me ask you the simple question. Do you have a relationship with Christ? Are you a Noah? Where you attempt to walk with God? Hey, you have a relationship with him, and that's great, and that's awesome, that's fantastic, that's great. But if you don't, you are like the wicked people of the world. And God looks at you and says, I desire a relationship with you, but you are spitting in my face. You're destroying my name, and he counts you as wicked. But today you can have that relationship that switches it all around. The question is this: do you have a relationship with God? Do you have faith that Jesus Christ died for you and for your sins? And do you want to turn your life around and start following him the best way you can? If that is you, I'm going to lead you through a prayer. The prayer does not save you. It's what you believe in your heart that does. So if that is you, not out loud, to yourself, simply talk to God and say words like this: Dear Jesus, I am a sinner. Forgive me of my wickedness. I believe and have faith that you came, you died, you rose again for my sins. Help me live and do exactly what you want me to do. Thank you for forgiving me. And thank you for this new relationship. With absolutely nobody looking around, if you prayed that prayer and you really, truly meant it for the very first time, I want to ask you, with nobody looking around, to just simply raise your hand. Great. Anybody else? Fantastic. Anybody else? Great. Go put your hand down. If you prayed that prayer and you meant it, I want to challenge you to take your connection card out, and on the back just check mark, I'm establishing a new relationship with Christ. So I can follow up. For the next couple minutes, we are going to pray and talk to God over those 5 questions. Here our directed prayer time. So let's first talk to God about our wicked world. right where you're at, just pray for this world, pray for our country, pray for the wickedness that is in this world, that you can stand against the wickedness that's in this world. And you see it everywhere. But pray that God intervenes on your behalf. So simply just talk to God about the wickedness that's in this world. We'll talk to God about your life. The question was asked, what if God saw one person's righteousness and decided to save mankind? Would it be you? Why are you not living a righteous life? What is holding you back? Is it others? Is it things? Is it money? Is it culture? It shouldn't matter. So right now, talk to God and tell Him sorry and ask His help to live a righteous life. Go talk to God about your faith. Do you have faith that God's Word is what God's Word says it is? His holy, inspired, and inerrant Word, without error? Or do you throw it against the wall and say, it's up to me? So talk to God about His Word and His instructions that He's given you. If God has seemed distant to you, it's not because of God, it's because of you. So ask God for help in this time that He might feel distant. And lastly, go ahead and give Him the praise that He deserves for keeping His promises. God, I know this has been a very, to me, just a very weird type of day. And whether it's me or something else, Lord, I pray that your word was preached and received. Lord, I love you. I really do. And God, the wickedness that's in this world is severe. But I pray we as Catalyst Church will be that catalyst, a reaction for a change within this wicked world. And may our faith grow. May our knowledge of your word grow. May we not be a judgmental church that judges people as they walk in and out on the street. But may we continue to pursue your truths and not be a simpleton. Lord, in a second as we collect our offering, I pray that every dollar, every cent, every penny will be used for your honor and your glory. God, this block party that we're going to be having in a couple weeks is going to be big. only if you allow the weather to be nice. As long as you bring the people that you want to bring. And it's all because we want you, God, to get the glory. And we want the people that are in the community to know that the truth is we love them, and so do we. So do you. So God, be with all the plans, all the decisions, all the things we need to get prepared for this block party. May we have many people that will sign up to help, because, Lord, it's going to be a big endeavor. May people sign up to give blood to show the community that we actually are willing to sacrifice our blood as you even sacrificed your blood for us. Lord, but more importantly, I pray that you be with every individual person in this room. That they, even though the craziness of today, that you, my God and my King, talk to them. As we leave here, may we never be the same. We love you. We want to thank you for the offering and for the block party, for everything you're going to do. For you, we give our praise. I pray all this in Jesus' name.